Hello everybody and welcome to the channel Out of Ammo, Out of Time. I'm your host as always, Krabby Terror 8, and here we are in episode 34 of the Investigator Games. Yes, episode 34 of season 2, I should say, of the Investigator Games with everybody's favourite boxer, Nathaniel Cho. Yes, and for those of you who are new to the channel, I heartily welcome you. What is the Investigator Games? Well, for those playing at home, the Investigator Games is like the Hunger Games. We take each investigator true solo with their starter deck through a scenario. And in Season 1, that was The Gathering. And in Season 2, we're here in the Midnight Masks and we see how they go. Now, depending on how they go, they end up in a league table like this one. Yes, and we can see here are all the investigators so far. It's getting crowded. Leo is still top of the table. Now, this includes their carryover victory points from The Gathering. So it's cumulative. And then, of course, in Season 3, we will continue, which isn't that far away now, into the Devourer below. However, we probably will have to get a bit waylaid because a whole new slew of investigators are going to arrive in the not-too-distant future, and they'll need to go through The Gathering. So we'll probably, and the Midnight Masks, indeed. So we'll probably want to include them as well. Now, yes, so spoilers. If you are new to Arkham Horror, the card game, you've never played before, I would really encourage you to go and play in real life. Check out some introductory videos on how to play. I'm assuming you know how to play a little bit, but I also recognize that people come here to check out how investigators go in a scenario that they might know quite well. So it's just, seeing how they work out, which is fair enough. So yes, now if we just go through Nathaniel Cho himself, he wasn't linked to a particular campaign. There was a whole slew of awesome investigators that came out as sort of standalone decks. And we're going to be going through them all. There's Wilfred Habermock and Harvey Walters and Stella, a few others. But we're starting with the Guardian standalone investigator Nathaniel Cho, the boxer. And I really like these standalone investigators. They came with awesome decks and really very eminently playable. And so Nathaniel here, he is traded criminal and warden. So interestingly, even though he's a guardian, he is traded criminal. And we can see from his general stat line a couple of things. So first of all, he's very, very strong on strength and obviously by association fight with a hefty 5, which is very strong. But we can see that does mean then some of his other stats are on the low side. Now, his willpower is 3, so that's not too bad, so he can deal okay with the encounter deck. But where he's low is on evasion or vitality or whatever it's called, and intellect. So his ability to search up for clues and his ability to evade enemies and monsters is more limited. Now, with his sort of vitality stat, the little wing shoe, that's less of a problem because he's just not going to be evading, he's going to be fighting. That's the whole point of this character, is he's a fighter, not an evader, which is fair enough. The 2 intellect does mean that as a solo character, he's a bit more challenging because obviously when you're playing solo, you've got to be able to pick up clues, and so that's a little bit challenging, although the card set is now quite extensive, and there are ways we can get around that, as you will see in a moment. In a multiplayer, of course, that's also less of an issue. Nathaniel wouldn't be your main clue getter. He'd be more your sort of fighter, taking on enemies as required. But the Investigator Games is solo, and so that's something to consider. Now, in terms of his special ability, he has a reaction trigger when you deal damage to an enemy by an event, or a fight ability on an event, deal an additional damage, and this is just once per phase. So that allows us to do extra damage, which is great. And this shows that Nathaniel is very much about events, and so in his deck there's a lot of events, particularly spirit events, which allow him to do various things with. So that's where the event comes in. So while Silas, for example, last week was about skills, Nathaniel's very much about events. His Elder Sign effect is just a general +1, but also if this skill test is successful during an attack, return an event from your discard pile to your hand. So it allows you to a bit of recursion there if you do get that Elder Sign effect. So that's a nice little bonus as well. I must fight on. Now he's got very high strength with a 9. His intellect is on the lowish side. His ability to horror soak, not his intellect, which, given his 3 willpower, is something to be aware of. So you want to make sure you've got ways to manage that, so that in some scenarios, they can be quite punishing in terms of horror and the encounter deck. So that's something to be aware of. Not so much in the Midnight Mass, but even in the Gathering, you've got the rotting remains of this world that can really do you quite a bit of horror. It's more damage in the Midnight Masks as much as anything. So so there we go. That's Nathaniel Cho. Now, if we just flip his card over and just have a look at the back, he takes a standard deck size of 30. And very standard, just Guardian cards 0 to 5 and neutral cards 0 to 5. So very, very standard. No sort of, any sort of shenanigans around the deck building options. And also he has some additional cards. Randall Cho. Now Randall Cho is his sort of signature benefit card, which is an ally. Concerned brother. Like all these cards, it's got 3 pips on it, and when Randall Cho enters play, you heal 3 damage or search your deck or discard pile for a weapon asset and play it, paying its cost, and shuffle your deck. So that's quite a nice effect. You either get a heal effect or you can bring out a weapon. And he's a 3 horror soak, so he's very very supportive of Nathaniel in that way, and can give him some support like that, which is very nice. So that's Nathaniel Cho. Now, on the opposite side, we've got Tommy Malloy. Now, Tommy Malloy is the signature weakness. It's an enemy weakness. He's a 2/3/3. He's a hunter. Yeah, as most enemy weaknesses are. And when Tommy Malloy would take any amount of damage, reduce that amount to 1. So it doesn't matter if you do him 10 points of damage. It's essentially going to take you three goes, or essentially a turn at the very least, to deal with him. He doesn't do any horror, but he does do physical damage. So you've got to go mano a mano with Tommy Malloy if he does turn up. You can of course evade him, but he won't. He will keep coming after you. And they call him the Big Palooka. Nathaniel calls him Scum. So there we go, that's that. His other random basic weakness he has is hypochondria. So there is a special basic weakness in the deck that comes with Nathaniel Cho, but the Investigator Games rule say it's a random one, and he happened to choose Hypochondria. So there we go. So when an up-and-coming boxer, Nathaniel Cho, was offered lots of dough for a title fight, he thought he'd finally hit the big time. But his promoter turned out to be part of the notorious O'Banion gang, and Nathaniel was pressured to fix fights by taking a dive every now and then. His refusal led to his brother Randall's accident. Nathaniel is rightly fed up with the mobsters endangering Arkham citizens on a nightly basis. Now he puts his fists to better use patrolling the streets and defending others from harm, but he's about to find out there are more dangerous things that lurk in the shadows of Arkham than simple gangsters. There we go. Okay. So there we go. There's Randall Cho. Now, in terms of his deck, as I mentioned before, he starts with his official Fantasy Flight Games standard deck, as we can see here. And now spoilers, he ended up with 6 experience points from the Gathering, which was pretty standard, actually. He did reasonably well. So not a lot for us to play with there. So, and also his deck was pretty well balanced. So one of the good things about these standalone Investigator decks were, unlike the other decks, is that they weren't just reliant on the core set and the whatever the campaign core set was. So they were much, I think, better balanced from that perspective. So there was less to do, but with the 6 there was a couple of things. The main thing was I took out Stand Together, and the reason I took that out is because that's a multiplayer card that had no benefit in a solo play, because it was choose another investigator at your location. So I've taken out Stand Together, and instead I put in 2 Scene of the Crimes. And the reason for that is, it's obvious that obviously Nathaniel Cho needs all the help he can get in terms of discovering clues. And so I replaced that with 2 Scene of the Crimes. And then the other thing that I did was I put in the upgraded Vicious Blows, which will allow us to hopefully take down the Masked Hunter in that way. So that should work pretty well. In terms of other clues, I didn't put in more skill cards like Perception. I could have done that, but I chose Scene of the Crime, which, is a testless way of discovering clues. But the other thing is there's also Greet Wagner. There's 2 Greet Wagners in the deck, who is an ally. And after you defeat an enemy, exhaust Greet Wagner, deal a damage, and discover a clue at your location. So that's quite nice as well. So there are other things in the deck which allow you to discover clues. And so I didn't want to over-egg the sandwich too much. And I think that having upgraded Vicious Blows was quite good. And there are other ways in the Midnight Masks to get clues as well. So I think we should be pretty okay. And we seem to have had a run of scenarios where a lot of cultists have popped up, and I'm hoping this time that is the case, because Nathaniel can deal with them pretty quick smart. So there we go. Don't know what you think. It's a pretty simple change in the use of the 6 experience, so wasn't really much of a change at all. So hopefully things will be all right for Nathaniel. Now, I did speak to Nathaniel in the trailer. He has a thank you to Miskatonic Trailers, as always. He had a purpose-built punching bag in there and weights and various things so he could work out to prepare himself for the Midnight Masks. He's certainly one of the fitter investigators in this, and so he believes he's got the ability to run around Arkham in a way that some of the other investigators can't. In fact, him and Rita Young are perhaps the fittest of the two of all the investigators. They are the most sporty, and so are able to run around quite a bit. And we shall see. So I think that's everything we need to talk about. We could then just read the agenda and the act deck and just wait for the horn to go off. Nathaniel is waiting by the house. He's doing his workouts, calisthenics, air punches, that kind of thing, just getting himself in the mindset to begin at the house. So while we're waiting, we'll just read out the agenda and the act deck. Predator or prey. Lita seems convinced of a conspiracy within the city of Arkham. She believes that a secret cult serves the ghouls that live in the crypts beneath the city, and that several of the cult's prominent members are scattered throughout Arkham. As you begin to search for them, you can't shake the feeling that you too are being hunted. Action, resign, you don't want to risk taking too long, so you head to safety with the information you've gathered. And Act 1A, uncovering the conspiracy. You have one night to find the members of this cult and unveil their plan. The more members of the cult you can find and interrogate or punch before midnight, the better. Investigators spend 2 clues per investigator as a group. Draw the top card of the cultist deck. Find as many unique cultist enemies as you can and add them to the victory display. If there are 6 unique cultist enemies in the victory display, advance note. Not all of them are in the cultist deck. So there we are all ready. There it is, there's the horn, and Nathaniel Cho puts his hands in the air, leaping around as if he's actually in a boxing ring. The crowd goes wild. They're ready for him to begin episode 34 of season 2 of the Investigator Games. Okay, here we go. Let's shuffle up. What do we want? What do we want? What do we want? Well, obviously, Greet would be good. So getting an ally out on the table would be great. That's one thing. Boxing gloves would be great. So some kind of weapon would be good. And also something that allows us to get clues quicker would also be great. So let's draw our 5 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. Well, this is pretty good. So we've got the boxing gloves. I'm really pleased about that because that's our signature weapon. So you get +1 while fighting, and after you defeat an enemy, you can exhaust the boxing glove, search the top 6 cards of your deck for a spirit event, and add it to your hand. So really, really nice. So we definitely want that. We've also got Scene of the Crime. That's great. We've got a 1-2 punch, which is one of the events. You get +1 for the attack, and if you succeed, you can fight the enemy again, and you get +2 and deal +1 damage. So there you go. And we've got a vicious blow. So we've got pretty much everything. I don't know if we need dodge at the start, but what I would say is the thing that dodge gives us is a willpower pip. So what we don't want to lose is the boxing gloves if we can help it. And so if we do get something like Crypt Chill, then, well, we would still be struggling in that way. So that's the only thing. So I guess we'll keep it in case we do need to do something like that. But it would be good to have some other asset on the table in case we do lose boxing gloves. So that's the only thing. So I wonder if I should throw in dodge and try and get something else. Maybe I will. So what I might do is I might throw in dodge and draw again, and we get another event. Yeah, when the action begins, gain 2 resources. Okay, all right. Well, that's got a willpower pip of its own, so there you go. Okay, so that's all right. So that's the only, sort of issue, if you like. We've shuffled up again. Okay, so what are we going to do? Well, first action, I think, is pretty clear. We will spend 3. 1, 2, 3, and we will bring out the boxing gloves. And I've just realized, actually, that, assets, notwithstanding allies, it's 2-handed, so we can't bring anything else, but maybe an ally would be good. Something like that. But there we go. We've got the boxing gloves out, so that's our first action. Second action, I think what we do is we avail ourselves of the facilities and we draw a card and gain a resource. We get Flesh Ward, which is an asset. There we go. And we gain an asset, and we gain a resource. Now, Flesh Ward is a magic, takes up a magic slot. It has 4 charges. When you are dealt damage and/or horror from an enemy attack, exhaust Flesh Ward and spend 1 charge, cancel damage. So I am actually going to bring that out. And the reason I'm going to bring that out is simply because of Crypt Chill. I don't want to lose the boxing gloves through a Crypt Chill. So there we go. Those are our 3 actions. It's a bit of a slow start, but I think it was important to get ourselves set up. So we had a pretty good draw at the beginning. We spent 3 and we brought out the boxing gloves. We then drew a card. We gained a resource and we drew into Flesh Ward, and we used our three resources that we had left to bring that out. So we've got Flesh Ward on board, we've got boxing gloves on board, and if we get Crit Chill, worst case, we just lose Flesh Ward, which would not be the end of the world. Okay, so we move into the enemy phase, or the enema phase, as I like to call it. Well, there's no enemies or enemas to speak of. So we move into the upkeep phase, and we get over here, another event. Choose a non-elite enemy at your location or connecting location. Move that enemy to your location, engage it, and attack it. Nice. Problem with these events, some of them, not that one, but they need all of them need some resources. So we're a little bit low on the resources at the moment, but that's okay. We're going to be focusing on clue getting. I'm assuming. Let's see what we get. So Mythos phase, the first Doom is down. Let's see what the lovely encounter deck has. And we start with Mysterious Chanting. Well, this is a good time to get it because place 2 Doom on the nearest cultist enemy. If there are no cultist enemies in play, and there aren't, right, search your deck for a cultist enemy, draw it, and shuffle the encounter deck. So there we go. So we'll put Mysterious Chanting in here, and we will search for a good old Acolyte. Where is he? Okay, close and shuffle. So we will put the Acolyte. Now we've got this scene of the crime. Discover 1 clue at your location, 2 clues instead if there's an enemy. So I think I'm going to be a bit clever here, and I am going to put the Acolyte here because I want to get the 2 clues. So yes, that feels like a good idea. And then we can grab the 2 clues from Miskatonic University, which is a High Shroud location. Okay, so, it's funny. With some investigators, you don't want enemies to come out. With other investigators, it's actually something you're actually quite looking forward to. And as we know, Randall's one to be prowling around fighting. So, okay, so there we go. That's the first encounter. So we can move into the investigation phase 3 actions onto Randall. Now, first action, I think we just go ahead and we investigate. Now, we are a 2. Do we have... no. I think we just go ahead and see whether we can get this. So first action, we are going to investigate. Chaos Bag gives us -2. No. Let's try again. Chaos Bag gives us a -1. No. Dear. I'm wondering, do we try again or do we move to Rivertown? Yes, I might actually do that. I'm going to move to Rivertown because I really want to get the 2 clues. I don't want to use the intellect pip here. I think I'm going to get the 2 clues from Miskatonic University next go instead. So there we go. So that was a little bit unfortunate. We needed to get a 0 or a skull. Oh no, even a skull wouldn't have worked, so maybe we should have just moved. But anyway, we're now at Rivertown. We don't still have any clues. There's a bit of a problem with Randall, but we're going to aim to get some next time. Yeah, because no, we can't use Scene of the Crime. Play as your first action. So, so that would mean we would have to... yeah, so we'll just have to think about how we do that. Anyway, we're going to have to move in, tank the damage, and then do it. Okay. All right. Okay. That's all right. Bit of a wasted turn, I suppose. Enemy phase, nothing happens. Upkeep, we get yet another event, counter punch, after an enemy attacks you. Even though this target, yeah, it's going to be interesting how we manage that. Okay, so we move into the second agenda. Let's see what the encounter. Hello. What the encounter deck has this time, and it does have the Crypt Chill. So there you go. Here's the Crypt Chill. We are a 3 versus it's a 3, isn't it? Versus a 4. So we can try and avoid this with playing some of these cards. But to be honest, do we care if we lose Flesh Ward? I don't really care that much, to be honest. Could make it a 4 versus a 4, but even then, that's probably... I'm just going to lose it. Let's see how we go. And we get auto fails. So yes, we would have lost it anyway, and I'm glad we put it out there, but we can't have another Crypt Chill happening. Okay, so let's move into the investigation phase. 3 actions onto Randall. Now, we need to be in this location next time. So the first thing I'm going to do is try and get this clue. So it's a 1 versus a 2. We are 1 up. Chaos Bag gives us a 0, so we succeed and we get the clue. That's our first action. Second action, I'm actually going to take a resource. And then third action, I'm going to move into Miskatonic University. Okay, there we go. So 2, and so therefore the Acolyte is on us. All right. Okay. So we are ready to get those 2 clues next time. So, yes. So let's move into the enemy phase. We take a damage. Now, we're not going to do a counter punch because we want to kill the Acolyte. We want the Acolyte there. So we're going to take the damage, and we've got plenty of soak for that. And then we will move into the upkeep phase and another event. We've really got a full hand here. We can start using some of these cards. Which is great. We're going to be ready for the Mars Hunter for sure. Great. So, yep, let's move into the Mythos phase. So 3 down, we're halfway through. We've only got 1 clue. Things are a bit on the slow side. But let's see what the encounter deck has. The encounter deck has another Acolyte. Okay, another Acolyte. Where are we going to put this one? We want him pretty close. Maybe, actually, we don't have an ally, so maybe I'll put him in South Side with a Doom on, and we can look to pop down there, and hopefully it's Mars Boarding House rather than Hysterical Society, and we can get ourselves an ally, so that would be quite good. But we're up to 5. We're actually up to 5 Doom here, so we do need to start dealing with these Acolytes, which is fine. Okay. So we move into the investigation phase. 3 actions onto Randall. Well, first action... Well, no, not the first action. Oh, yes, first action. Play as your first action. It doesn't provoke an attack of opportunity. We can spend 2. And it says, like it says, 2 clues instead if there is an enemy at that location. There you go. So we get 2 clues. We get 2 clues. We not only get 2 clues, we get our first victory point. Crowd goes wild. Yep. And there we go. We've got our 2 clues. Now, next action, we're going to punch this Acolyte. So we are a 6 versus a 3. A 6 versus a 3. It feels like I don't really want to spend these, although I've just realized when the action begins, I can play this. When the action begins, gain 2 resources. So we will do that and get 2 resources. That's good. And then I think we just go ahead and fight. So 6 versus 3. We're 3 up. Chaos Bag gives us a -1. We succeed and we kill the Acolyte. Dead. Easy. So that was our second action. I did do that right, wasn't it? Fight when this action begins. Now, when you deal damage to an enemy by an event or a fight ability on an event. No, we didn't. After you would defeat an enemy, though, exhaust boxing gloves. Yeah. Search the top 6 cards of your deck for a spirit event and add that to your hand. Okay, let's have a look at the 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's got to be a spirit event. That's a spirit event. That isn't. So that can go back. Oh, there's Greet. That goes back. That's a talent asset. That's a spirit event. And that isn't. So there's 2 spirit events. Fast play after you defeat an enemy, draw 2 cards. This attack deals +1 damage, Monster Slayer. Ooh. Well, I like the double intellect, so what I might do is I might take that one and shuffle these up. There we go. Very nice. Okay. Okay. So there we go. This is that all happened. It's all been great. We've done lots and lots of stuff. So what are we going to do for our final action? We've got 1 action left. Well, I think the obvious thing to do is to pay 2 clues and see who we get in terms of occultist. Now, I know we might get Peter Warren, but you know what? We can punch Peter Warren into submission if we need to. So we'll shuffle up and we get Victoria Devereaux. Yes, Victoria Devereaux up here. That's great. Yes, we can parley with Victoria, or we can go ahead and fight her as well. So there we go. All right, so that was a really, really good round. Turn. We first of all, we used Scene of the Crime to get 2 clues from Miskatonic University. We then defeated the Acolyte and we got ourselves a card. And then we brought out our first cultist. So very, very nice. We got lots done. So I think next time we get rid of this other Acolyte and see if we can hopefully get ourselves an ally as well. Let's see how we go. There we go. So we move into the enemy phase. There's just this Acolyte here and Victoria, and they're not doing anything. So we'll move into upkeep and we get, wow, more glory. Look at this. So many glory cards. Now we can use those to investigate if nothing else. We move into the Mythos phase. There is now 5 Doom down. Let's see what the encounter deck has. And the encounter deck has, just when we thought things might be moving our way, we've encountered a bit of a problem. That's all right. We'll this Hunting Night Gaunt won't know what's hit it. There we go. Okay, so we move into investigation phase. 3 actions onto Nathaniel. We're not going to let this Hunting Night Gaunt go. We're going to go ahead and fight. So we're going to fight. Let me just have a look here. After you defeat, that's draw 2 cards. After an enemy attacks, this attack targets the... Yep. Nope. Oh. Interesting. Okay. 1-2 punch. You get +1 for this attack. If you succeed, you may fight the enemy again. Ooh, okay. That's sounding good. Okay. So, we're not going to defeat... We're not going to... So if you deal damage to an enemy by an event, deal an additional damage. So that would do 2 points of damage. So I think what we do is we spend 2, we do the fight, but we use the 1-2 punch here. So you get an additional +1 for this attack. And then we can fight the enemy again. Should we use it here? I think we should. I think we should try and get rid of this guy as quickly as we can. So we're going to fight. We're a fight of 6. In fact, we're a fight of 7. A 7 versus a 3. That's pretty good. So for our first action, we will fight. Chaos Bag gives us an Elder Sign, so we get +1. So we do. We succeed, and which means we do an additional damage because we used an event. So we do 2 points of damage. But because we got the Elder Sign, we can return an event from your discard pile. So let's see, which event would we take? Oh, there's only these 3. So it's either resources or we discover clues. Which of these 2 is better? Maybe the resources, actually. So I might bring the resources back. Now, if you succeed, you can fight the enemy again. So we're going to fight the enemy again. I get +2 and +1 damage. So that gives me a 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 versus a 4. 8 versus a 4. Chaos Bag gives me -1. I kill the Hunting Night Gaunt. Sorry, and I wanted to bring this out, at the same time when we fight again. Gain 2 resources. Yep. So we get 2 resources. Yep. And there we go. So we've killed that, which means that because we've killed it, after you defeat an enemy, exhaust the boxing gloves. Look at the top 6 cards and a spirit event. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, spirit event. No. I think that's 1. I think that's the only one. So we'll take that. Wow. Put these back. Shuffle them up. Wow. So that was our first action, wasn't it? Because we did the 1-2 punch. So that was all in one fight. Incredible. So we've still got 2 actions left. So I'm going to spend... now, we could either move that enemy to your location, engage it, and attack it. We could spend 2 and we could do it that way. Or we can move and get the ally. Is it worthwhile? Because, yeah, I think it is. So what I might do is I'm going to take an action to move to the south side. It is Mars Boarding House, which is great. And then for our final action, we will fight again. So we are a 5, we're a 6 versus 3. Do we bring anything out? Yes. So let's just do a 6 versus a 3. Chaos Bag gives us a -2, so we succeed. So we kill the Acolyte. I'm going to spend 1 and use the glory. After you defeat an enemy, draw 2 cards. And there's Greet. Great. Okay, so we didn't even have to... Wow, there we go. Wow. Wow, that was so amazing what we did then. He's such a great character, isn't he? So we started off at Miskatonic University and we 1-2 punched the what's it called? Forgot its name now. What's it called? The Hunting Night Gaunt. So we 1-2 punched the Hunting Night Gaunt with our first action. And then we moved to Southside and we killed the Acolyte and drew 2 cards. So what we'll look to do next time is get Victoria Devereaux, and then we can be prepared for the Masked Hunter. So there we go. So great. So let's move into the enemy phase. There are no enemies to speak of, so we move into upkeep. Now we have to get rid of something here. We've got too many things. So there's an asset here, Safeguard. After another investigator moves from your location. Okay, well, we don't need that, so we can get rid of that. Okay, cool. All right, so let's move into the Mythos phase. There are 5 Doom down, so it will flip next time. The encounter card is another Acolyte. Well, this time it doesn't matter because because it's going to lose this. So I've got to put it somewhere, probably here at the house. I'll probably just put it here at the house and the doom. It doesn't matter because it's going to flip anyway. So there we go. All right, so let's move into the investigation phase. 3 actions on to Randall. So we've got a couple of options here. Now, the Mars Hunter is going to pop out next time. We could either go up and get Victoria Devereux and spend our 5 resources that way. There's a couple of problems with that. We will, Victoria Devereux could keep for later. We could actually fight Victoria Devereux rather than use 5 resources. And I'd rather face the Mars Hunter with +2 fight. So I'm actually thinking that the best thing to do is, first action is to spend 5. And the other thing is, if we get another Crypt Chill, then we've got something other than the boxing gloves. So we'll bring out Greet. So that's another +1. So we're now running at a +7 fight. So we are certainly ready for the Mars Hunter, I think. We've still got 2 actions to go. So what I might do is, because I am thinking the other way, is that we get more resources, and we're going to need resources if we're going to fight the Mars Hunter. So I'm just going to spend 2 actions and give myself 2 more resources so that we can spend it on, although a lot of them don't require resources, but, it's worthwhile having a couple of resources. So there we go. Didn't do very much, but that's fine. And also, if we defeat the Mars Hunter, we can discover a clue at our location. So let's move into the enemy phase. Enemies are as they are. We move into upkeep. Oh boy, this is going to be a bit more challenging than we thought, isn't it? Oh dear, oh dear. Wow. Okay. That timing was pretty bad. So we will move into the Mythos phase. There we go. It's flipped. I can't believe we got Tommy Randall. He couldn't have come at a worse time. It is what it is. There we go. There's the Mars Hunter.
Oh, hello, Tommy. Oh, we're going to have some fun. Hey, put up your boxing gloves.
Oh, boy. Okay. So we are now into Agenda 2A. Time is running short. The minutes pass quickly. Resign. You don't want to risk taking too long. There we go. Okay, let's see what the encounter deck has for us. You are kidding me. Another Hunting Night Gaunt. Oh, my goodness. Look at this. Oh, goodness. Can you believe it? We've gone from none to 3 enemies. Oh, boy. And our ability to evade any of them is really low. So I think we just have to tough this out. See how we go. Wow, we're in for a fight of our lives here. Investigation phase, 3 actions on to Nathaniel. Okay, so what are we going to do here? Well, I think the first thing to do is to try and kill the Masked Hunter. Yeah. So, So we are a 5, we're a 6, we're a 7. Let's bring out the big guns. The Vicious Blow. So we're going to fight with a Vicious Blow. So we're fighting. So that's a 9 versus a 4. If this test is successful during an attack, it does +1 damage, +2 if it succeeds by 2 or more. Because it's also a fight, we're going to do this to gain 2 resources. Or do we need to keep that? Maybe we need to keep the fight pips, to be honest, actually. Yes, but we are going to spend... Let's have a look here. Fast play after the enemy attacks you. Okay, well, the enemy's not attacking us. Does he have retaliate? No, he doesn't. Okay. So, do we do the 1-2 punch? Yes, I think we do. And we play the 1-2 punch. So we will spend 2 for that. So let me get all this right. So we're fighting. I'm not going to use this because I want to we might need the fight pip. So we're basically doing 5, 6, 7, 9, 10. 10 versus 4. 10 versus 4. Chaos Bag gives us a skull, which I think is a 0. Wow. So we succeed by 6. So first of all, if we plus 2 damage if it succeeds by 2 or more. So we do 3 points of damage. 3 points of damage. So we do half the damage already to the Masked Hunter because of Vicious Blow. Now, because we succeeded, we can fight the enemy again. You get plus 2. And you do plus 1. So we're now doing 5, 6, 7, 9. 9. And we will do plus 2 damage for the attack. So that's a 9 versus a 4. So we're doing a 9 versus a 4. Chaos Bag gives us a -2. So we succeed again. And we do 2 points of damage with the 1-2 punch. Wow. Wow, that was just our first action. Okay. Right, well, let's do our second action. We are going to fight again, obviously. This time, we're still going at a 5, 6, 7. 7 versus 4. Let's make that an 8 versus 4. Let's make that a 9 versus 4. So we're 5 up. Do we need to be 5 up? I don't think we do, actually. So let's... So what we might do is we might play this as... Oh no, we need all our fight pips, don't we? Probably. Let's just make it an 8 versus a 4. So we're 4 up. Chaos Bag gives us a skull, so we succeed. And the Masked Hunter goes down. So he's been defeated, which means, first of all, if you've been defeated, deal 1 damage to Greet and take the clue. Very nice. Also, we can spend 1 and we can fast play after you defeat an enemy, draw 2 cards. Wow. Oh. Hypochondria. Okay. And finally, we can exhaust our boxing gloves. Wow, so many things. Top 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we can bring... It's a spirit event. Is there a spirit event? Yes. I think that's the only one, so we can bring that to our hand and shuffle the rest. Wow. Wow, look at that. Incredible. So much. There's so many synergies with his deck. And we've still got 1 action left, right? So we've still got 1 action left. So the main thing is, who do we go ahead and fight? Now we've got this now, Hypochondria. Okay, if you take 1 or more damage, take a direct horror. Okay. Okay. So Tommy is going to take 3 actions no matter what. Hunting Night Gaunt. What can we do here? Well, we can't defeat him, but what we can do is we can fight him as a 5, 6, 7. 7. So we can do +1 damage. So let's go ahead and do that. So that's 7 versus 3. Chaos Bag gives us a -1, so we succeed and we do 2 points of damage. So the problem with Tommy Malloy is that everything's reduced to 1, so I want to maximize that. There we go. So those are our 3 actions. Pretty good. We got the Masked Hunter, and we got 2 damage onto the Hunting Night Gaunt, and we did all of that in 1 action, so that's great. We're going to take a bit of damage now, I think. So the enemy phase now. We take some damage here. We take the Hunting Night Gaunt damage and a horror. Now, I'm just thinking, we've got this counter punch. After an enemy attacks you, even if that attack was cancelled, this attack targets so we can fight again. So I think when the Hunting Night Gaunt attacks us with a damage and a horror, now what we can do is we can put the damage on us. We can put the horror onto Greet. Now, because we took... After you take 1 or more damage, take a direct horror. We've got to take a direct horror. And then we take 2 more damage, but I think because it all happens simultaneously, we don't take more horror, but we've got to take 2 more damage. Yeah. Then we can play Counter Punch. When an enemy attacks you, the Hunting Night Gaunt, we can fight. We can fight that attacking enemy. And we can deal an additional damage because we haven't used this yet. When you deal damage to an enemy by an event or fight, deal an additional damage. We haven't used that yet, so we will use it now. So we're fighting at a 7 versus a 3. Chaos Bag gives us a 0. We succeed, and we use this. And we do another 2 points of damage, and we defeat the Hunting Night Gaunt. Fantastic. So all we've got to do now is deal with Tommy. That's all. Well, we will do that next time. Okay, so there we go. So we move into the upkeep phase. We get Greet again, so that's good. So we can let Greet soak stuff up if we need to. And we move into the Mythos phase, the first Mythos phase of the second agenda, Agenda 2A. Let's see what the encounter deck has, and it's got a Hunting Shadow. You must either spend a clue or take 2 damage. I'm going to put the 2 damage onto Greet. And if you take 1 or more damage, okay, we've got to take a direct horror. So I'm going to put the 2 damage onto Greet because we've got another Greet, but I take another horror. There we go. That's a pity. That's really annoying that we have that hypochondria. But anyway, that's the way it goes. Okay. I don't want to spend the clues. I want to actually get out another. Once we've dealt with all this, we can bring out another one, and then we can start getting some more cultists. Okay, so we move into the investigation phase. 3 actions onto Randall. Now, all we need to do here now really is just literally fight him. Now, we are a 6 versus a 2, so we're already 4 up, right? 6 versus a 2, we're already 4 up. So I think we just go ahead and fight him. I am going to use this. When the action begins, fight, gain 2 resources. So we'll get 2 more resources. And we will just go ahead and fight him 3 times. So the first time is a tablet, -3. So we're a 6 -3. We succeed. If you fail, we don't. So we do a damage. Then we will do it again. And we succeed again. And we do another damage. And we go again. And we do the 3 points of damage. And we've gotten rid of Tommy Malloy. There we go. Basically, it's just sort of wasted a turn taking him out. So there we go. So next time, we can probably... do we bother getting rid of this? Or do we keep moving? Yeah, I think what we might do is get rid of the hypochondria and bring out the next cultist, and then we can focus on getting those cultists. I think that's what we do. Okay, so we will move into the enemy phase. No enemies to worry about. So we move into upkeep. Get over here. Yep. So we will move into the Mythos phase. 2 Doom already down. Let's see what the encounter deck has. It has another Hunting Shadow. Oh, take 2 more damage, and that means we take another horror. Wow. Wow, this is starting to build up, isn't it? There we go. I don't want to get rid of my clues. Okay, we will move into the investigation phase. First of all, we're going to get rid of this hypochondria. That was 2 actions. And then for our final action, we are going to spend 2 clues, and we're going to bring out the next cultist. Shuffle up. Who do we get? We get Peter Warren. There we go. Okay. All right, so we've got a bit of things to do next time. Yeah. All right. So we move into the enemy phase. Enemies aren't doing anything, so we move into upkeep. We get Relentless, which is an asset. When you deal excess damage to an enemy exhaust, Relentless, place that excess damage on Relentless. Discard Relentless, gain resources equal to the amount of damage on it. Okay. It might be good because, well, I suppose if we get another Crypt Chill, but anyway, it's just a question of time. We can constantly be spending time doing other stuff. 3, see, we're already up to the 3 on the Mythos phase. The encounter deck gives us a locked door. Attach location with the most clues. That's here at the house. Okay. We'll send that to the back. Okay, so here we are. We are in the investigation phase. 3 actions on to Tommy. What do we do here? Peter Warren, if we had 2 clues, but we don't have any clues. I mean, we could go to the graveyard and look to get the clues there. But the problem is now we would be taking horror if we did that. Maybe this is what we do. I'm going to spend 2. And I'm going to bring out Nathaniel Cho. When he enters play, heal 3 damage. Yep. That's my first action. Then I'm going to spend 2 actions. And I'm going to get myself to the graveyard. Yes, now to get to the graveyard, we have to test 3, and we are a 3. Well, we can make that a 4. Do we? I'm going to make that a 5. 5 versus 3. Chaos Bag gives us a tablet, which means we fail, don't we? 5 versus 3. Yes, we don't have any clues, thankfully, but we fail. So we either take 2 horror, so we're going to put 2 horror onto Nathaniel, and we'll stay in the graveyard. So what the plan is we'll get these clues, then we'll get over to Peter Warren. Yep, and then we'll have enough resources to then get Victoria. And I think if we do that, then we're doing well. Okay, so we move into the enemy phase. Enemies aren't doing anything. We move into upkeep. We get the Flesh Ward. Okay, 4 Doom are down. We're halfway through the final agenda. Time is running out. Let's see what the encounter deck has. It's got False Lead. If you have no clues, False Lead gains Surge. Well, we don't have any clues. So let's see what the encounter deck has. And it's got Hunting Shadow again. You either must spend 1 clue, I can't, or take 2 damage. We've got to take 2 damage. I'll just take the 2 damage. Do we get rid of Randall? Is Randall doing anything for us now? He can... Look, I'll take the 2 damage. Yep. Okay. All right. Taking a lot of damage. Wow. Investigation phase, 3 actions on to good old Nathaniel. Now, I think we go ahead and investigate. So it's a 1 versus a 2. But there's no doom on anything, so let's go ahead and do that. 1 versus 2. Chaos Bag gives us a skull, which is exactly what we want. So we get a clue. We'll do it again. 1 versus 2. We get a tablet. You're kidding me. Oh, no. Let's go again. 1 versus 2. And we get +1 and we get it back. Oh, my goodness. How annoying was that? Well, we get 1 clue anyway. All right, okay. Enemy phase, no enemies to speak of. We move into upkeep, we get our boxing gloves again. Mythos phase. Let's see what the encounter deck is. Oh no, Wizard of the Order. Ah, boy. Okay, we're going to put the Wizard of the Order on Rivertown, and he gets a Doom on him. We're going to have to deal with him. Yes. Okay. So we move into the investigation phase. 3 actions. Now, have we got time? Yeah, because this will go to 6, 7, just. So I'm going to try and get this clue again. Yeah. Let's try and get this clue. Oh, no, because the problem is... Oh, man. The problem that we have is that now skulls are a -1. So we either use Greet to try and boost us up to a 3 versus a 1. I think we do. Let's go ahead and do that. So first action is 3 versus 1. Let's see if we can get this. Chaos Bag gives us a +1, so we succeed. We didn't need to do that, but we got the clue. We get the victory point. Crowd goes wild. Then we move. Oops. And then we will fight the Acolyte with our final action. So he's a 4. Oh, I just realised we don't... Oh, how annoying. Anyway, he's a 4 and we're a 6. 4 versus 6. We can make that a 7. 4 versus 7. Let's go for a 4 versus a 7. We can't make it +1, can we? Ah, because we don't... Yeah. All right. 4 versus 7. Chaos Bag gives us a -1. We succeed, but we only do 1 point of damage. Okay. Anyway, that's... Yeah, that's fine. So next time we'll defeat him. So we move into the enemy phase. He does us a damage. Who do we put that on? Put that on us. Yep. Upkeep phase, we get Safeguard. We move into Mythos phase. Whoa, and then another Doom goes down on the Wizard of the Order. Let's see what the encounter deck has, and it's got False Lead. If you have no... For 1 or more clues, test 4. If you fail, place 1 of... You're kidding. Oh, no, no, no. Far out. No, 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 no. 4 versus 2. We've got nothing we can do. Chaos Bag is an Elder Sign. So that gives us a 3 versus a 4. But we still... We lose one of our clues. Here. Well, you know, it's a 1 shroud location. Oh, so annoying. Wow. So we'll move into the investigation phase. 3 actions onto Nathaniel. Okay, we're just going to fight again. So we are a 5. We're a 6. Let's make that a 7. A 7 versus a 4. Chaos Bag gives us -2. We succeed and we kill the Wizard of the Order, which means we can exhaust Boxing Glove and we can look at the top 6. Yep. Let's go back in. We're really running out of time, aren't we? Okay. So what was that? That was our first action. Now, either we try and get this clue, or we just move in and we do some damage to Peter Warren. I think that's what we're going to have to do. I don't think we can do it with clues anymore. So second action, I'm going to move into Miskatonic University. And then for my final action, I'm going to fight Peter Warren. So he's a 2 and we are a 6. 2 versus 6. And this attack deals +1 damage. Chaos Bag gives us a tablet. 2 versus 6. 6 minus 3. It's a success. It's successful. And we do 2 points of damage. If you deal damage to an enemy by an event, yes, or a fight ability, deal an additional damage, which we haven't done. So actually, we've done it. He's gone. Peter Warren is in the discard pile, and the crowd goes wild. There we go. That was right, wasn't it? Because we did an additional damage. It was a 6 versus a 2. So we did the additional damage, and then because we used an event in that attack, we did by an event, you do an additional damage. So there we go. So that's great. So that means we've got 1 turn left. We can get Victoria Devereux with our money, and we can and then we can resign. There we go. So enemy phase, nothing happens. Upkeep phase, we get physical training, whatever. So we move into the Mythos phase. This is the final phase for us. The encounter deck has Crypt Chill. Now there's Crypt Chill. Okay, 3 versus 4. Look, let's just, it doesn't matter. Let's just throw in these 3. So that's going to give us a 6 versus a 4. Chaos Bag gives us a cultist -2. Place 1 doom on the nearest cultist enemy. Well, that doesn't matter now. So there we go. We succeed. We don't get Crypt Chilled. There we go. Okay. So here we are. We're in the investigation phase. 3 actions onto Randall. First action, let's move up to north side. Yep. Victoria Devereux's there. Second action, let's spend 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And she goes into the victory display and the crowd goes wild. Final action, resign. And there we are, ladies and gentlemen. Turn 14. We got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 victory points by turn 14. 3 cultists, including the Masked Hunter. That was a pretty good effort from Nathaniel, considering he got the Masked Hunter, Tommy Muldoon, and a Hunting Night Gaunt all in one go and was able to fight the 3 of them all at the same time. How awesome is he? Incredible. I mean, if that hadn't happened and we just had the Masked Hunter, we probably could have gotten ourselves another cultist out. We also lost one of our clues in Rivertown along the way, and we were just running out of time. So that really cost us some time as well. So as usual in the Midnight Masks, all kinds of things happen, which means that things don't go perfectly, but we did pretty well to end up as we did. So thank you very much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Now, next time on the Investigator Games, we will be taking Harvey Walters through the Midnight Masks. Yes, we'll be taking Harvey Walters through the Midnight Masks, and I'm very much looking forward to that. But until then, I'm Krabby Terror 8. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you soon. Goodbye.